going on, y'all? It's your boy E. Johnson. Welcome to my channel. Real quick, I was asked to comment on the Mary J. Blige. I believe his name is pronounced Kendu Reeves. I apologize if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, but basically they're going through a really nasty divorce. Rumors are speculating that Kendu is asking for a lot of money, and he's had lots of extramarital affairs. Basically, he's cheating on Mary J. Blige, and I guess according to her being on the Breakfast Club, I can't say Breakfast Club, she had indicated that it's with someone that they know, and Mary is on there indicating she would have done anything to work on her marriage, and if it would have been with somebody that like a stranger, she would have been willing to work on the marriage, etc. I believe, I want to say according to her, he put hands on her. So just really messed up situation. And obviously you go to the comment section and you look at what people are saying in the comments, and everyone is on Mary's side. Mary's extremely popular. She's the queen of hip hop, soul, R&B soul. She's a legend. She's an icon in the game. And obviously so many people are, jumping on Mary's side. And then you have comments from a lot of feminists, black feminist women, who are making comments about, Mary should have got her a white man and she'll be better off. And, then you have, some black guys retaliating on there, calling them bitches and saying, we need to be done with, black chicks and all that kind of stuff. And it just really turns into this conversation that is really about nothing productive, right? So anyway, to kind of get back to my point and just kind of my perspective on the whole Mary J. Blige thing and just my opinion, at the end of the day, if what Mary J. is saying, if what she's saying is true, and I don't doubt that some of this stuff is true, but I also have to take into account that they're going through a pretty ugly divorce. And when you are going through a divorce, or you're going through a situation, and obviously you're in the public eye, and you're dealing with a lot of money, you have to make yourself, in some regard, look like the person that got stepped on. Put yourself more so in the victim category. Now, again, I'm not saying that Mary is 100% wrong, because I do believe that everything that she's saying is not 100% false. But again, I'm not necessarily sure how 100% true it is either. I have not heard Kendu Reeves' side of the story, so I really don't know. And I'm not going to necessarily say I don't care either, but I'm just basically giving my perspective. For me, number one, when you are in a marriage, it takes two to tango. I'm pretty sure that he could say a lot of things about Mary, and I'm sure that, clearly she's saying a lot about him, but I'm sure he could say, things that Mary did to him. He could come out and say Mary did this, Mary did that, a number of different things. And typically when you are in a situation to where you are the most popular person, in this case Mary being a mega star, Kendu kind of looks like the little bum dude sidekick that Mary brought up, and to some degree that's not 100% false, because he wasn't popular. Mary obviously was the iconic superstar and he was attached to her, and it was really an upgrade for Kendu, right? In many respects. But nonetheless, just because he's quote unquote the sidekick guy, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have a valid story. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have a perspective. It doesn't mean that things didn't happen to him as well. So with all that stuff said, I think people need to listen to a lot of this stuff really with a great deal of perspective. Understand that there are two sides of every story, but at the end of the day, you're going to decide to believe what you want to believe anyway. For me, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I've heard Mary's story, and from an emotional standpoint, I could just say, yeah, Mary's getting taken advantage of. She's Mary J. Blige. This dude is a bum. I could do that, but I think it doesn't. To me, it doesn't provide a whole lot of intellectual perspective if I just go vouch for Mary just because she's Mary, and then this guy has no credibility. It would be no different if it was the other way around. If he was the mega icon and Mary was the alleged side second string chick, and I guess the narrative would be gold digger. He was, he had paper, all of these things. Nonetheless, it's always interesting to see how people respond when you have, in this case, a woman who has a lot of money, prestige, or what have you, versus a man who came into the game who didn't necessarily have that. I think also, again, what's very interesting, at least from my perspective, is when you have individuals, really mainly black folks, who I consider as victims of this system, who typically go in and call, Mary black bitches and it was her fault, or you have people who say this nigga was a bum and he didn't have shit. Mary should have did this. When you have those two dynamics and it's coming from victims of this system, it's very interesting to see how we kind of really placate the issue, and we tend to really side with a lot of the stupidity of the dominant society, who's really done a phenomenal job of training us in terms of how we respond to wealth and prestige, because we so much want to emulate that. We start having these bickering matches between black men and black women that are very non-constructive, and they go absolutely nowhere, and they're stupid, because at the end of the day, at least again to me, black men arguing with black women, vice versa, is to me like two rape victims, saying that someone ripped my asshole apart more, my asshole got ripped apart more so than your asshole. That to me is black men and black women arguing about really carfuffle and bull, in my personal opinion. Both groups are marginalized. Both groups are looked down upon, not just here in the States, but globally. And we're arguing about something that really is not of any great concern. And then we start, putting each other down just because we want to feel ingratiated by white society. So that's all I really got. But at the end of the day, I just tell people, make sure when you hear any celebrity or people that are in the limelight, or whomever, even if it's not a celebrity, just people that you may know, make sure that you have all of the facts before you form a conclusion about anything. And then when you do get the facts, always provide perspective. Try not to put everybody in one box and start going off on an entire demographic of individuals. Make sure that you're specifically focusing in on that specific individual. And obviously, if you see things that are consistent amongst a demographic, there's nothing wrong with pointing it out, but try to understand why that's happening, as opposed to being a contributor to the buffoonery. All right, that's all I got. It's your boy E. Johnson signing off. Like I tell everybody, don't allow ignorance to cost you money or health. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Different, yeah. Come on. I'm just different from head to toe.